And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics. Hey, Ginger, what you doing over there?
I'm sorting through my paint tube looking for yellow oxide, but I see it right here in front of me.
It's a brand new tube, the big one.
The big brand new tube.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
it's right there. But
always hiding, always hiding.
I know, and it is, but I found it. So, hi everybody.
What? Well, right up front, the YouTube monitoring says that we're not really feeding fast enough, but everything here is good, and I'm watching it on the iPad, and it's looking good, so we're going for it, people.
That's our disclaimer.
That's our disclaimer up front.
Okay, so here's the thing. Just a fast hi to everybody. We appreciate you guys that join us on the live shows. It makes it so much more fun to do a painting tutorial if we got some live audience out there. And
absolutely.
That makes it so nice. And sort of as a thank you for doing that, we're going to have another 10-minute painting giveaway for just our live audience, the people that took the time to join us. This is Monday, April something or other. What is it? I'm
going to call it the 23rd until something comes better.
Yeah, 23rd and 2018.
Yeah.
So if you were and we were at 7:30 Central Time. That's Texas time. So if you happen to be watching this and you're in our live, then you get to enter the contest, and we'll give you details as time goes on. However, if you're watching this later and you're feeling a little bad because this happened, we're sorry. We try to post our live things ahead of time. Our live shows generally we're Sunday at 2:30, Monday at 7:30.
Both Central Time.
Both Central Time. You know, we haven't popped around to different states. So that being said, and if we do something different, we post that too. So you know, if you can catch us live, we appreciate it.
The best thing to do is to subscribe, and you'll be notified.
Mostly. That's true.
Hopefully.
According to YouTube.
That's a YouTube thing.
So this was kind of exciting. You know, we've been on sort of this flower run the last month or so, just nonstop flowers.
But we love flowers.
And I've been, of course, you know, you can actually use the keyword now, the old dead guys. I'm starting to put that in to our videos, the last two. I'm just going to call that I most would have to know what that was to type that in, old dead guys, see what comes up. But I'm going to add that from now on whenever we have a new video out that's using an old dead guy, and that might be. And I'm also going to do a playlist that says old dead guys. How's that? That would be better. We'll have a playlist. So
that way, the ones that aren't tagged, they can go in there.
Yeah, the ones that aren't tagged. So if you just want to paint the old dead guys, and why do you want to paint them? Here's the thing: people say, "Why do you want to do that?" Well, what you want to do, you know, by the time they make a museum, you know, they make the notice of the art world, because there were thousands of people painting back then. But what made these guys special? This is an art education in a painting. This is huge. It's not just about history of art. This is really what they captured, how they saw the world. If you can kind of figure out what they did and then see the world a little bit that way yourself, then you're just one step ahead of the game. And that's the reason. And sometimes, for instance, you know, I've been asked to judge art shows, and you know, in a beginner category, if you can make the horse look like a horse and draw it almost as good as you can, you know, that usually the best skilled draftsman kind of painter can get first place. But by the time you get to what we call, you know, professional art category, then we really expect you to be able to paint a lemon or a horse or whatever. Of course, you should be able to paint that in your sleep. So then what can you tell us about a horse that we haven't thought of before? What can you show us? Are we looking down on the horse? Is he doing something interesting? Is he wet? I mean, what is it? Tell us something different. And what I found with these, the same thing with these still lifes, was that these artists are telling us something about a still life that we haven't thought about. That, you know, maybe the background's different, maybe they've lit it differently, maybe they've they've come up with something a little bit different, and it's striking, and it's outstanding, and it's very appealing. And so that's one of the you can learn so much. So that's my speech for the day. So don't, even if you just type in, just type in the Louvre sometime on the internet, and then type in Impressionist, and just browse through the paintings and look at them. They've got an awful lot online. You don't actually have to live near a museum to go see the stuff, though it's nice if you could go up front and really see it, because there will never be a photograph of a painting that will look exactly the way the painting looks, particularly those ones from that end up in museums, because the light from the photography, from the flashes, which is why you can't use a flash in a museum, they ruin it. The light hurts them, and also, so when they take the time to really set up and photograph it, they try to limit the amount of damage that can happen to it from light. And somebody asked the other day about oil paintings. I hate to tell you this, but acrylics last longer than oils, just in case that ever comes up. But that's neither here nor there. Light is sort of, light fades, So, okay, so if you don't think so, well, anyway, you guys know that. I don't have to go into that. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. We're going to try to have a lot of fun. We're going to paint this 8x10. Well, we should have fun. Don't you think we should have fun, John?
We always have fun, Ginger.
Well, there you go. There you go. See,
we don't try.
It's been said. That's true. It's been said.
It's just
we
the way
always
it
have
is.
Fun, right?
We're fun people.
And I know we're fun people. And I want to give a shout out to our moderators who are moderating the live chat. These guys are volunteers. Who's here tonight, John?
Who's here tonight? We have Kim Sim or Kim Sung, depending upon who's saying it, and Wendy, and I know Judy and Liz are in the background, still in stealth mode, and not sure if Tanya made it because her internet went out. And she was going to be on the phone, but I don't know if she can be on the phone and be here at the same time. So,
well, these are the challenges of living in a modern age. And gosh, you just think about, practically, if your internet goes out, it's like someone just sucked the oxygen out of the room. You're going, I don't have internet. Well, I've just, what'll I do, right?
It's you can't function.
I'm telling you, we've gotten we rely on it. So it's really so much. And so anyway, we appreciate you guys joining. And
before we shoot down, several comments. All we see is on your shirt, the lovers. We got to know the rest of it.
The lovers. What does it say?
The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
The lovers, the dreamers, and me. And I found this one on Amazon too. I thought it was cute. The lover, and I like the colors. Don't you like the colors?
Looks like a rainbow.
Say like a rainbow. Here, I'll stand up there.
There you go.
Lovers, the dreamers, and me. Yeah.
So all right, now I can shrink you.
Yeah. Well,
Are you ready to be shrunk?
So, art lovers, are we ready to start a new painting?
Ooh.
You like that?
I like that.
I like that. What was that? I just watched the tail end of Scandal. John doesn't watch that show, but
No.
That was Sally Angstrom and the character in the show. She goes, Liberty lovers. Well, we're going to be art lovers. Are we ready to do this? Okay.
Ooh, that's just such a sexy voice.
Well, thanks, John.
Yeah.
You're going to get me laughing.
I wouldn't think of that.
I know you wouldn't. So,
would
and
not
he's off to my right, which
that would be your left.
that would my left. That's my other right.
Of course, I'm off to your right, which is your left. Everybody knows that. Anytime Ginger gives directions, it's always the opposite of what she says.
Anyway, he's off to my dyslexic right. And so every once you'll see me looking over there at him, because I just do. So
okay, wait. How often can you submit a painting for a pack for Academy members?
We're asking you to submit it to do once a week.
No, okay. There's a disclaimer behind that. Could you say if I'm working on my portrait of my dog, and I send it to you on Monday,
and you can send it back to me Tuesday, Wednesday, as long as you're working on the same painting.
It's
you
the
can send it every day.
One painting per week. How can we say that to make it make sense?
Well, you can send it to me, 5 times the same picture to trying to work on it. And usually I'll tell you if I look at a lot of it depends. And I've spent as long as an hour video with somebody trying to explain something.
And we won't say Andrew's name. I'm sorry.
Sometimes it's 5 minutes. It depends on the information I feel I need to share. And it's sometimes, I will just say, you've done really well. Let's post it and go on to the next thing. And sometimes I think you can hear me when I suggest one more thing. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say, this is really good, but if you just made this darker, if you brighten this little area up here, it would really stand out. And so sometimes we'll have some paintings that go back and forth several times. Sometimes people just send me something. I started this, like for instance, the book painting, the one with all the books. I don't know if you have that handy, John, I would show that. But the perspective on that is so complicated with all these books stacked up on the shelf, that somebody might send me just their preliminary painting of what they've done, just how they've got it sketched in before they start adding paint to it, to see if I see any perspective lines. Or for instance, Venice. Let me show you Venice. Now here's an example of a, whoops, I just knocked some pictures over.
I knew it.
Well, you know, you had them there, who knows, right? Can I hold this up? Can you guys see Venice?
Wait.
I'm just going to hold it up to the camera.
No, you can't do that. Lay it down, because I've already shifted.
All right, lay it down to the camera. Do you see this? See Venice? Now this is, not only is it this painting, which I really like, and look at all the layers of color, this is one of the lessons in our Wave and Water Masterclass. Well, oftentimes we'll have members of that, and they'll send me in their initial, they'll lay out the picture, maybe just kind of draw it on the canvas or whatever, kind of halfway paint it in, and then they'll say, what do you think? And then I can, before they get so far along that their perspective is off. And incidentally, you know, we've got this great art auction going, really, from our lesson paintings. And this is one of the paintings in our art auction, my original Venice painting. By the way, just guys, you haven't gone to gingercooklive.auction. gingercookauction.com, that's it.
Gingercook Auction. Where were you? Gingercookauction.com.
Sorry. Anyway, in one of our auctions, unbeknownst to us, one of the, just all by itself, just one pansy garden closed today all by itself. We don't know why, but congratulations to the winner of Pansy Garden, who, you know,
that was a nice, I really like that one.
And I want to show you, if you have that, I'd love to show that, because I think more people would have bid on it if they'd seen the whole thing. And you're not to make you feel bad, but
you missed out.
But you really missed out. This was a favorite. I really debated whether just to keep this myself in my collection. But here's Pansy Garden. See how it's painted around the edges. See that? Isn't that just neat? And it's a little gallery wrap and hangs on the wall. Pansy Garden. So and this is a lesson on YouTube, by the way, if you haven't done it. This is on my channel. So if you're just interested in flowers. But anyway, congratulations to the winner of Pansy Garden. The other auction, are still open for a while. Here's the
May 5th and 6th mostly.
May 5th and 6th are mostly when it's closing. This is what we're painting tonight. This is it's called a Lilacs in a blue vase.
No, you told me blue picture.
Blue picture. Lilacs in a blue picture. Well, what was interesting to me is that this was done by a Russian artist who was really a famous portrait artist. I mean, I had to dig deep to find some of these still lifes these guys did, because he was mostly famous for portraits. However, his name was Valentn Serov, Serov, Valent. Let me just put my glasses in. Valentin, Valentn Serov, and it was another impressionist. And everybody thinks about the French impressionists, but the Russians, some of the best artists in the world come from Russia, you guys. Hate to tell you this, but this is not that I hate to tell you, it's just an absolute true fact. I mean, everybody thinks of France, but I'm telling you what, Russia, the Netherlands, Norway, I mean, really, back then people went to art school, they really learned their craft, and there's amazing art in the world. And one of the things I love about our channel is we bring it to you. We teach you, we show you some art about art you've never heard of. And yet look at this. Don't you love this green background here, this beautiful green background? I thought this was so pretty. And he's got some very interesting colored lilacs. They're kind of a different, I grew up with lilacs growing up. The whole driveway was lined with these, and ours were very, very purple. But they come in different colors, and these are sort of multi-tones of magenta and a little bit of almost an orange color, and then the off-white. And then you've got the soft, soft green behind it, which I think is just stunning. So you guys think so too, I hope. So this is 8 by 10. If you were going to make it larger, now here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're going to make this larger, then you really need to probably Google him and try to see the exact picture, because his picture has got his little vase picture thing has got a
lot of detail.
Lot of detail on it, and when you start making things bigger, then you got to kind of include it. Okay, we can get away with a little bit less detail because we're making it small, though it does go with so many of the things that we've painted, does it not? I mean, let's see, where did we put those? Well, I mean, on YouTube, I think we've probably got, I don't know, probably 20 paintings of vases, flowers and vases. These are all old dead guys that, maybe color patterns you hadn't thought of. Look at that. Here's one. These are all YouTube ones. All YouTube ones. This was with a Chinese vase. This is just some of the ones, not counting the ones we've done the last few days. So feel good about that. And I had some people say they didn't, what we did yesterday, they didn't really particularly like flowers, but they got into it and they really loved it. And who in this group, just, if you play the piano or any kind of musical instrument, one of the things they have you do is paint scales. Do, 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 right? They have you paint scales. Well, the reason, not paint scales, play scales. You're playing the scales either on the piano or on a saxophone, or they are, learning chords on a guitar, and you play those over and over again, and it kind of goes into your brain. When you are painting, small paintings like this, even if this isn't your favorite thing to paint, do it anyway. Look what you'll learn from it. And whatever you know in this, you'll be able to add to something else you know. So if you have a couple of 8x10 canvases, I've got either a blue one here or a dark brown. Either one of these would work as a background color for this. You can use blue or brown. I think I told our group blue, so I'm going to go ahead and use the blue one, but brown would work fine too, okay? So what we want to do is just sort of put our vase in, and it's really a picture. So again, it's a little bit, I'm going to show you on our chalkboard, it's a little bit different than, because it's coming out like this. Do you know what I mean? It's more of it's more of an A shape like that. Okay, rounded here and like this, and with the letter C here. Is that good? Okay. So I mean, this is a pretty simple shape. I don't think you'll have any trouble drawing it in. Okay.
You don't have to do the top; it's all hidden.
The top is all hidden, so we're really just talking about. You want to kind of keep it round on the bottom, and So what you can do then is let's come up from the bottom of our canvas. Here it is, about I think I had it about 1 inch, and I'm just going to come up here from the bottom, and I've got to try something with some numbers. All right, so I'm going to just come up this way and come across like this. Just draw a line like that, and I think I want to let's see, the center of my canvas. This is it. Let's see what it's 8x10. So here's 4. This is the middle. So this is well, this is lucky. Our base is not quite 3 inches, so probably 1.5 on each side. We ought to be in good shape, right? 1.5 inches on each side. That ought to be it. And then how tall do we want to make it? I really need to put my glasses on so I can see the little numbers. I think I did it about 4 3/4 inches tall. Okay.
What's the name of the original artist on this?
His name is Valentn Serov, Serov, Valentin.
Sounds Russian to me.
Definitely Russian, okay? So I'm going to just draw a line up here like that. Now I'm going to say, here's how wide I want the top, which is about 1.5 inches wide on the top, okay? So, about like that. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to draw a straight line. I want to go in about a mark on each side of that. You can always make it wider. And then just take, if you want to, you can just take your ruler and do that. Okay, that's pretty easy, right? Except this looks, why does this look crooked? Why does this look crooked? It does. I'm so used to freehanding stuff in. Here's the roundness part of this. That gonna just do this. There you go. So there's my vase right here, and about halfway, about I don't know, 2 fingers up from the bottom, I'm going to put a mark. And I want the widest part of the vase is right here, is about 2 fingers out here. So my handle is going to come out here like this, and be a little wider here. Come in like that, something like that. So I mean, that's nothing. That's pretty easy, right? I think it's because this wasn't straight up and down. That's what happened to me. This line here has to be straight up and down. Let me just show you. This is why I love little T-squares. See, well, it was pretty close, wasn't it? Not quite. That was pretty close. All right, like this and like that. Okay. So.
Here's a comment for you. I was in Bangladesh and introduced some friends to you there. Now I'm in Cambodia, bringing your good news to friends and locals here. You're truly international now.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, Bangladesh and Cambodia. Wow, places, two places I have never been.
Someone asked, do you think the background was a palette knife? Do you think the original painting background was done in palette knife?
No, I do not think so.
Okay.
It was all done with oil paint. It was not. The palette knives were not big tools back then, you guys. No, it was not. So, all right. So we're going to come up right about here from the handle is kind of on this side, and up a little higher here is when the green is gonna be gone. This is our green stuff. Okay. All right. So that's our green stuff, and then this is all dark up here. So that's easy, right? I mean,
simple enough.
That's just simple enough, yeah. And so we're everybody says you never tell us what the colors are. You guys are the same colors. We just use the same colors.
If you've seen one of our videos, you've seen them all.
We just pretty much, we may add magenta occasionally, which we're going to have in this painting, and sometimes we'll tell you if we're going to use a mixing white or titanium
or a strange color. Some
strange color, we'll tell you, but mostly we're doing this. And, there's a lot of different ways to get these greens. For instance, it's a fun thing. This is why I've got a really good video on YouTube. I just posted it again on our Facebook club to remind members that we have this great tutorial on how to do a color mixing journal. And if you would do that one, it will save you hours of trying to figure out how you got the colors on stuff. I can't say that enough. So I'm going to say it again. Watch that color mixing journal one and make a color mixing journal. Just, you don't have to do it all in one day. Just as you progress with you have a little leftover paint, add another page to your color mixing journal. It's another good use for it. Okay, so we've got a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of yellow oxide.
Carol would like to know, what is the shelf life of acrylic paint, or when do you toss them?
Well, they can't freeze. And I've had some for 20 years that have been fine, and others that are not as, then they get kind of goopy, they're just not nice, or you've left the cap off.
I don't believe that.
Believe it or not, what has a shelf life is tape. Now, you talk about that tape, artist tape. The longer it stays there, the stickier it gets. And the idea behind artist tape is that when you lay it down, you pull it back up, it doesn't peel your paint off, okay?
Yeah.
So
leave residue behind.
I try to date everything I buy and put a date on it and try and use my oldest stuff first. I think, for instance, there's a tendency for all of us, if we see a good deal on sale, our tendency is,
stock up.
Let's just buy 10 of this. This is a good idea because they're practically giving it away. I'm going to save money in the long run, and that's true, you will. But you should date when you buy stuff. And also, if you're ordering for something like from Dick Blick or Jerry's or one of those online stores, check your order. Don't just put the box in the closet unopened, because 9 times out of 10, it's been my personal experience that stuff's missing. They're happy to send it to you, but 6 months later they're not going to be so happy about it. When you go, oh, I just opened the box, it's not there. They're going to go, look, lady, that's just too bad, right? So that's the other thing I would encourage people to do, is to do that. Here's a little Dazzling purple. We talked about this yesterday. If you didn't have Dazzling purple, you could use real red and ultramarine blue and get something kind of close. And in some ways, also the other thing too is if you want to make your paintings look really old, like them, the old guys, then maybe you wouldn't want the purple so bright. Maybe you wouldn't want Dazzling purple if you wanted to have that kind of ancient look. Maybe you'd want to use just red and ultramarine blue because it will be less bright. So sometimes there's reasons to want bright colors, and sometimes there's not to confuse anybody. Ha.
Olivia would like to know, how do you decide what color to do the backgrounds?
Well, I mean, it was a cheat. There's a cheat. The guy had a dark background. He had a dark background, so I had to start either with blue or brown, okay?
So why did you decide on blue versus brown?
I just because I happen to have a blue canvas as opposed to a brown. The vase was blue, right? So I could have said, there's the vase blue, or I could have done a brown canvas. Could have done either. I like the fact that the blue's there because when you put the brown over it, some of that blues will show through, and it'll be more interesting, I think, a little more interesting. You can see a little bit of the blue showing through in this one, see? So there's something to be said for that, but it's not, There's an artist in Hawaii, I ran across her years ago. See, here's a little magenta. And she had, all her canvases were just painted red, and then she went ahead and did her oceans and her landscapes. And sometimes, when she'd be doing some trees or something, she'd leave a little sliver of red showing. It was really a nice effect, but that was her style. Eventually, you're going to get your style of art, but this is the idea behind, when Bob Ross was teaching painting, you painted like Bob Ross. When Ginger Cook teaches you to paint, you're not painting like me, you're learning to paint like you. And we do so many different painting styles, and eventually you're going to find your rhythm, your things that are comfortable for you to paint, your brush strokes, and you're going to find kind of your deal. Perfect. Here, okay. There. I'll wipe my finger off, try to keep my fingers out of the paint. See, I think I said that was I wanted Cad Red medium, and I put Cad Yellow down here, but so too bad, we're putting Cad Red in here. So we basically yellow oxide, Cad Yellow medium, Dazzling purple, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, Cad Red medium, and magenta. Those are pretty much the colors, you guys.
Susan would like to know, is it normal to see variations in color between brands that use the same color name?
Oh yeah, there
Big
are,
time.
and it's how much pigment they put in them and stuff. And generally Matisse and Golden are pretty consistent, but boy, you get into other brands, and particularly student grade paint, and it's just not even talking at the same ballpark anymore. You just aren't. Let's see. Now I need some sort of raggy here, a little towely thing for my hands, and so now we know what this is. I guess what we could do is just take a little brush and let's just paint a layer of color in this. Shall we do that? Just take a little ultramarine blue and a little purple, and let's just paint this. Let's just get another little layer of color on this. Kind of cement in our ultramarine blue and purple. There we go. We're just going to paint in our vase, our pitcher. What was it? Did your mother say little pitcher has big ears? Remember that?
Little pitcher had what? Pig ears?
Big ears.
Oh,
Little
big
pitchers
ears.
have big ears.
Nope.
Indicating that there were kids listening.
Nope.
No, so I'm sorry. We're just always looking for the word association. All right, so there's that was easy, yeah? So now I'll just take a little bit of burnt umber and just come on up here like this with little X strokes. This is pretty easy. A little burnt umber, a little dazzling purple, little X strokes like that. Just kind of cover this canvas pretty fast. I'm using a little 3/8 inch angle brush. Could have used a bigger brush. Could have used a bright brush. They're ruby satin silvers, and I love them. And I can't say enough about it, how nice they are. I like the Silver Brush Company. And I like the quality of the brushes that they do, and they stand behind their products very much. I was looking to buy a gift from my grandkids. I'm not going to say what it is, but I was going to buy I was on Amazon looking, and it looked like such a nifty thing. And the comments were that the software, you couldn't get a hold of the manufacturer to ask any questions or if you had a problem. That's the nice thing about, buying from a reputable company like a Silver Brush Company, because even if you buy the brushes from the brush guys, there's somebody at the other end of the phone eventually that can hear you. Golden Paint, Matisse, even in Australia, these companies, really care that you're a return customer. Well, sometimes you might see a deal on some sort of non-existent brand acrylic paint somewhere on the internet and think, well, I can get all these tubes, look at all the colors. And, it might not, you might not be saving any money because what you buy maybe doesn't work, and then you've got no recourse because there's no such person at the other end of the line. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Hey, we'd like to thank Susan for their donation. And the comment is, the two of you are amazing.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much. We appreciate that so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, we really do. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys read our newsletter. I think, how many people did we scholarship this year?
So far it was 20-something.
Over 20 people were scholarship that had.
And we're just warming up.
For through our our scholarship fund, through donations like yours, either helping us get materials or
Or helping people.
Are helping people
Get an education.
get an art education, maybe just scholarship for a week or month or something like that. So it's a very nice thing. So we appreciate all of that. And of course, and recently this has all been going toward the hospital fund that we have to, John had surgery, and you guys know last week, and all these people like to be paid. So this is all helpful. So we appreciate it very much. All right. Now, I want to make this pale green color. Okay.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Jeanette would like to know, are all red paints primary reds?
No. No.
Thank you for asking. I'm not going to elaborate on that, so no.
Well, here's the deal.
Well, you can take the CAD that's right there, and it's an orangey.
Look, yeah, CAD red medium is an orange red. Magenta is a kind of a violet red. Here I have a video just on this subject for you. It's called Adventures in Red. It's on YouTube. Please watch it. And I'll tell you what it tells you. It answers this question more than you ever wanted to know. I'm one of these people. If you ask me what time it is, I'm going to tell you how the watch is made. Okay? That's how I answer questions. I've been accused of that before. I don't find that an insult. I do my very best to make sure that I've imparted as much knowledge to you as I can. And Adventures in Red is one of those videos. And then if you just got so excited about that, then I have Adventures in Yellow and I have Adventures in Blue, all free on YouTube to watch. All right.
You haven't done green yet.
No, well, we got sidetracked. Now, look, I love this color green. Here's a video on YouTube. This is the Play with Videos on YouTube Day. See the greens in this? These are some pansies. Another old dead guy did this. I think it was Degas, but I'm not sure. I can't remember now. I say it in the video. And look at all the layers of different greens. This is another wonderful video on YouTube. If you haven't done this one, this is really, really pretty. However, how do you get these greens? Now, one of the things you've got to remember, this is so important when you're mixing colors, is everybody pretty much knows that yellow and blue is green. But if you had a black and white picture, and the green is on the light side of the grayscale, which obviously this green is, right? Then you're going to start with yellow or white. If it's on this side of the grayscale, which would be these darker patches of green, then you start with blue. And that will help you immensely mixing colors. Okay? So we're going to take a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow, and then I'm going to take a little bit of, I think, ultramarine blue. And I'm not going to put it in the middle like we're making cookies. Okay? We're going to put it out to the side and sneak it in and see what it does. That's pretty good, right? We're snuck it in. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? So, what do we got? What do we know? Well, I think that's pretty good. Isn't that pretty good?
It's a nice green.
That's a nice green. Now, if I had a tiny bit of yellow oxide with that, that would just sort of gray it off a little. Maybe, ooh, that kind of brightened it up. Let's take a tad of magenta, just a drop of magenta and put in there, and that will age it. That will make it look older. So I'm going to come up under here like this, next to my... I think it would be easier for me. I'm just going to paint out my handle and put it back. Is that okay, you guys?
I knew you were going to do that.
Because, I mean, you see where it goes, but I mean, a handle. I mean, how hard is this? The letter C. You've been doing that your whole life. This isn't tricky. All right, little tiny bit of blue. Little tiny bit more blue. There you go. So there's this sort of olive green color. And you don't want the same greens. Now, that's the trick. You don't want a little bit of white. You don't want the same greens all the time. You want to kind of, mix the greens. This is our first layer. We're going to come around here, and I'm still using my little brush because I'm lazy and I want to get another one. I've already this one's in my hand. I'd have to go get another one. Now, as I come back up here under where the handle's going to be, I'm going to just sort of, now what happens when I come up into this brown? Obviously, I don't want a line like that, so I might take a little brown and purple and bring it back into this and sort of fuzz that out a little bit so it's not so... maybe a little bit of blue with that, just maybe a little bit of ultramarine blue. So I know I want it, what I'm trying to avoid is sort of just a straight line. I just want some sort of a misty feeling of the green just disappearing. So now I have to I'm out of color now. So I'm going to take a more white, a little more yellow, a little yellow oxide, a little bit of ultramarine blue. Now I know my recipe. I'm pretty good. So I'm going to come around this way. Maybe I'll come on this side of my vase come up here like this. And this is my first layer of color, so I'm going to put others over it. But we'll add a little bit of that warm kind of a magenta green into that, like that. And let's see, I'm out of color, but I'm not making gobs of it. You see, I keep making it as I go. That's the secret. I'm not making gobs of this color. I want it very light next to my vase, and then as it gets out into the little bit more blue, as it gets out this way, all right, a little bit more yellow. Okay, as it gets this way, it's a little bit more olive green. Okay, so it kind of comes off to the right like that. So we got these different various grain. Now you want to come under the vase like that. That's why I love these angle brushes. Going to come under here like this, and a little bit more of this olive green color. Let me just put this right here, like this. All right. Now, any questions why I'm happily painting green?
Yeah, Sherry would like to know, are you guys close to offering a certificate program from your art academy?
Not close, but we will eventually. It seems like we can barely get caught up. I'll tell you what, we get so busy, we can barely get caught up. I probably spend so many hours a day just on our personal art coaching. Now we've gone to video with it. I spend a lot of time doing that, and then I'm constantly designing new paintings. And John, probably, how many emails do you answer a day, John?
Close to 100 and change.
Yeah, he answers a lot of emails a day. Now we want to put a little bit of, I'm going to put this green back here. I want a little darker green, a little bit more yellow and ultramarine blue. Put a little darker green under here where my vase is. Add a little bit more blue to that.
Well, speaking of what you're doing now, Renee's asking, can Ginger give advice on making a shadow reflection of vases on the bottom of the vase?
Well, here's the thing. If it's a bottom of a vase, it's not a shadow, it's a reflection. Okay? There's a difference. If it's the reflection obviously on this vase is behind it, and this is like a, well, you think this is a shadow? It might be a shadow.
Well, the way you painted it looks like a reflection to me.
I think it's a reflection. And so that's like last night's was the other day it was a reflection as opposed to a shadow. So like the table's shiny, and so it's got a little reflection. So here's a little purple. So we're doing that now. We're putting a little dark color here, and we're just going to suggest it. I'm just kind of doing what he did and suggesting it. You just want you don't want a hard edge. You want the edges to be sort of fuzzy, like that, so that just it's there. Okay?
Fuzzy like my face.
Fuzzy, yeah. Well, not that fuzzy, John, but you're definitely very cute fuzzy face. All right, so now here's our vase now. And now what I want to do, I know this is kind of crazy, but what I want to do now, I think my background's dry. I'm going to take some chalk, and I'm going to come up here like this, and I'm going to draw a little, I'm going to draw some leaves. Look at the shape of this leaf like that. This is as tall as I want, and I might draw this little leaf up here. I know I've got a leaf coming over the side of the vase like this. And I have some coming down here like this. I might add some more, but I know I've got some, I'm putting in the leaves. The flowers are going to kind of fit around them. That seems very backwards, I know, but this is how I could figure out where to put them. So I'm going to start with ultramarine blue, a little tiny bit of phthalo, and some yellow oxide, and make this dark green color, and a little tiny bit more yellow. And maybe yellow ox. Let's see. How about yellow? How about some tiny cad red medium? A little bit of that kind of gray to make more of a dark olive green. And I'm going to come up here like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and say I need more yellow in that. Okay. Here we go. Here's this yellow.
That's better.
This is just the start. This is just the first color, so we know where we're putting stuff, right? That's all this is we're just coming up with a plan for our leaves. Just a few. So these are kind of our main ones, okay? And I like this. It almost looks like a dolphin's, whale tail back here. His little leaf back here, all right? So I've got those leaves. Now I want to finish my my yellow around my leaves up here. On this side, I told you we're going to get this a little brighter. And just start putting in more of this green, okay? like that. So, okay, we came up there, and up in this area, that's all going to be flowers, okay? So, now what? Well, I know I still want it darker there, so phthalo blue and yellow. Let's make this dark green right here like this. Put a little brown in it. Let's try that. Ah, better. A little brown. That's what this needed. Tiny bit of burnt umber in that. There we go. All right, so there's this dark green right here. And I'm going to come up here like that. In this one right there. Now, if I get more yellow and a little bit of white to this and more yellow, okay, same colors, more, but just a little white and yellow, okay, I can come up here on the top of this. Let me wipe the brush off. A little bit more yellow here.
Hey, we'd like to thank Two World Swings for the donation.
Oh, you guys are always so awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so there's my lighter here. In fact, even just a little bit more yellow right on here like that. Just while it's still wet, and blend that in. And here's a little bit of yellow right here on this one. Gonna blend that in. Here's some yellow here. I think I'm just gonna grab the yellow and mix the color right on the leaf, right like that. There you go. This one. There you go. See, isn't that pretty? We haven't done that.
Those are all still wet.
They're all still wet. Just putting a little yellow on them.
That's why they're blending in nicely.
Yeah, so that's
smooth transitions.
Yeah, there you go, and the same thing here like that. And so if we need to add more, we can. So in the meantime, back at the ranch, we saw that you saw where this is curved here. We want to come up here and do a similar curve. Measure it if you have to. Get this curve following the
Gotta follow the bottom.
The bottom of the vase, and that's on the sides like that, right? And let's take some yellow oxide and just paint
Patricia
over
would like
this.
to know who came up with acrylic paints.
That's an interesting question. Apparently, the story goes, the legend is, I'm going to rinse my brush here, it's a little green. The legend is that there was this wonderful oil painter, couldn't tell you the name, and oil paints are the kind of thing, there's a lot of hazards in painting with oil. You need really good ventilation. It's not people, those guys, the Impressionists and all those artists, they had big studios. They weren't painting in their bedrooms, okay? And they had good ventilation because of the fumes of the oil paint. And it's very toxic stuff. I mean, it's people worry about oil paints can be, and particularly the chemicals used to clean the brushes. And apparently he got very sick. I don't know if he was a smoker or what his deal was, but he was so ill, his doctor told him he could no longer be around oil paints. He could never paint again because there wasn't enough mass or anything. He just had to stay away from it. And his next door neighbor was a chemist. And he worked for an acrylic paint company, house painting company. Acrylic paints were invented as house paint. And he said, this is outrageous. A man of your talent should never be prevented from continuing painting. And he says, I will make you a paint that won't kill you. And thus, this was in upstate New York, and thus acrylics were invented. Isn't that good? Back in the late 50s.
Hey, we'd like to thank Vicki for the donation as well.
Thank you, Vicki. Now, you guys see here, I'm making a... Thank you very much, Vicki. That's really sweet. We appreciate it very much. I've got a little orange on my brush, and this yellow's still wet. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm going to just get a little bit of cad red medium and cad yellow medium. Just put a little bit of this orange on here like that. I think I probably have to dry that a little more. So that's about all we can do with that. But I could make, he had, right on this side, he had a little, kind of an odd little flower like that, honestly. And then over here, he's got some sort of little odd flower on the side of his vase, of his picture. It's not my picture, but he had that. So as long as we're in that orange color, if we were to just paint that on this like that, and you may not want to decorate your vase this way. I think the vase is fine if you didn't decorate it, but I feel like since he did it, I'm going to make that a little redder on this side. A little bit more cad red medium is your orange red. I feel like since he did it, I feel like I have to. But I don't want you to feel like you have to. Here's a little bit of yellow here like this on this one. Some sort of little yellow flower over here. Okay, so there it is. Make sure it's wrapped, kind of wrapped around the side there. Now, we'll let those dry. we've got some white paint and a little bit of ultramarine blue, tiny bit of phthalo, like just a drop. And we want to come up here like this and then put a little magenta with that. Yeah, just a teeny bit of magenta. Just mix that right in. There we go. And I've got some sort of blue highlight on the base like that. Okay, and it's kind of dark on both sides. And then let's take a little bit more ultramarine blue and purple and just kind of knock that back a little bit. Maybe a little purple in here. Just kind of don't need it that bright. Okay, there we go. Something like this. So he's got some sort of little highlight on the base. That's pretty, yeah. And I think our background's not too bad. Do you guys think we're doing pretty good? Maybe I'll just darken this up right here in a couple places, as long as I have that dark color. I'll put a little purple, and I'll tell you what, a little purple and magenta makes a really nice dark color. And I might just come in here like that, darken this. And I think we need more blue. There we go. I want a little bit of darker in here. Right like that, where the bottom of our vase is. Okay, now, rinsing the brush because we're switching colors. Everybody's good with this? This is still dry. All right. John, what I need is one of those little tiny canvases again to paint on. I need to, this is, there's about 3 real simple ways to paint kind of all kinds of flowers, but here's our test canvas, okay? What I see people do, if they have a bush of flowers like this, right? Let's just do this for me. If they've got a bush, they've got like a flowering bush, right? Like that, okay? There's a little flowering bush. And then what I see time and again is they want to do this. Like it's a polka dot dress. Here's my flowers. What do you think? They do, I mean, really, no, okay? So, or if they're doing even some sort of a vine, like for instance, if this was a rock wall, then I need some flowers on it. Let's see, if I needed some flowers on that, they're just doing something like that, just little dots, and that's not what you want to do. What you want to do, we're going to use the corner of this brush. I'm going to rinse it really well. We're going to use the corner of this brush, and we're going to start with a little magenta, little ultramarine blue. And what I'm going to, and maybe a little white with that. And what I'm going to do, a little bit of ultramarine blue, white. Yeah, let's get a color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start using the corner. I'm going to make little dots. And the shape I'm going to make is, maybe the shape is, let's see, you can't even see that. Maybe the shape I'm going to make is like something like this, cone shaped. It's going to be cone shaped at some point. But I'm going to start with little dots of paint that are touching each other, like a woodpecker. And then I will keep changing color, okay? The lighter colors are on top, even if I have to go straight into my white to make that happen. The brush is dirty, so it's going to change the values of stuff. It's going to come up here like this. If I want a little bit pinker over here, I might add some of this color. Darker colors underneath, lighter colors on top. It's all tapped in here, okay? With little, you want to tap it in. And it's really, if you look at it, they're all little dots that are touching each other, okay? Not spots or stars. Very important. And if you get, so let's, now that I've kind of explained that, right?
Okay, hold on a second. While you have your brush, point, not.
Yes?
Point to get the paint off of there.
What?
Get the paint off your brush.
Yeah.
Point to the point of your brush.
Right here. This
See,
angle.
now hold it flat. There you go. See how it's an angle. So the tip is it's the furthest point out.
See, if you used a little brush, if you used a little pointy brush, say like something that came to a point, that one's really died, didn't it? What did one like this? See, a lot of people have a brush like, well, I don't even have any of these brushes anymore. I hardly ever use them. But let's just suppose for government work that you had a brush like this. Can you use like a little round brush like this and just
It would drive you nuts.
You can go straight down. It doesn't do very well. It's too soft, and it doesn't work well. It's just really ineffective. Okay, just saying.
The angle's just a very versatile brush.
Yeah,
if you got one brush, that's the brush you want.
Yeah, if somebody said, and they're not expensive. They're under, one brush like this is under $7, and they're not expensive. But if you buy 100 brushes, that's expensive. But if you're buying a couple, I'd buy a 1/4 inch, a 3/8 inch, and maybe a 1/2 inch, and maybe a number 12 and a number 8 bright brush by the Silver Company. These are the short-handled angle brushes that they sell, and I recommend that. On my personal place where I buy them is the Brush Guys, and I have a teacher's page, Ginger Cook, and if you use my name, all one word, Ginger Cook, you get a 5% discount. They give me that too. I think that's very nice. I appreciate the fact that you see that on the beauty channels on YouTube, where the manufacturers, if you buy their stuff, if the artist will even mention it, they'll give everybody a break for buying it. It makes sense to me. We see very little of that in the art world. Very much less of it, Also, you can also get my daughter's brushes. They're also made by the Silver Brush Company. They're wonderful too, the Art Sherpa brushes. And again,
which one were we using yesterday? That bright one?
Yeah, we used this yesterday too.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to put some, we're going to just start in here with our little bit of ultramarine blue. Start in here with our little bit of white, and just start in here with our, let's see, I want a little bit of yellow in this. This was interesting. His a tiny bit of yellow in this. We're going to start in here like this.
Would you classify this a 1 cookie or 2 cookie lesson?
With this, I think this is pretty simple. I mean, you've got a cone for a thing, and you've got that's 1 cookie, really. This is pretty easy, isn't it?
Maybe a cookie and some crumbs.
Cookie and some crumbs. So this is not hard. If you just, the trick is now as I go out further, I'm going to go into the white, and see I'm getting a little lighter pink up here. And I don't want just a triangle. I want something that's a little bit more uneven. And then I'll come up here with a little more white, maybe a little bit of yellow oxide in white. So kind of an off-white. Here we go. See, I'm going to say up here like this. And I'm getting the little dots smaller. They all kind of connect. Here's my there's my first little lilac. Isn't that pretty? I mean, that's pretty easy to do, yeah? So now let's come back over here and start again on this one. Let's put one down. See, where do we want? I want one kind of down here in this section. So I'm just tapping it, even though it looks like I'm just blotting out the world with the little dots. I'm just going to tap it on down and kind of get my shape in here. And I know I've got. And if yours is a little different place, that's okay. Now we're just going to keep lightening it up. Let's see, I want a little bit of yellow. He had some orange in his, which was interesting. Almost a little orange color in his too. There was almost, they're kind of in here like that. And then we came back up with the more of the pinks. See, just barely touch it. The darker colors underneath. And also acrylics dry darker. Okay, and I think he had some of these light pink ones coming down here like this, just over this side. And if you find, it's your flower vase. If you want to, there's some little darker ones underneath here like that. Okay, like that.
Ginger, do you know if water mixable oils and acrylics can be used in the same painting?
They cannot be used in the same painting. They absolutely cannot be used in the same painting. Unless the acrylics were all dry and you did the water mix. The last thing you used was the water mixables. But then you could not go back with oils.
With acrylic.
With acrylics. With acrylics. You can't go back. You can't go take acrylics over any kind of oil paint. Okay?
Acrylics are under.
The acrylics can be under and dried, and then you can sure go on top with the oils. In fact, there's a lot of oil paint artists that do that, because the wonderful thing about oils is that they blend very well. So particularly for portraits, they're really good for that. Pastel, the reason artists use pastels is because they smudge so well. Okay, and most people don't have any idea how to make acrylics blend. They really don't, and they try to use them like oil paint, and they're not. It's a different skill. Like, for instance, if we were to take up airbrushing, and you can see where we're kind of getting some darker ones here. If we were to take up airbrushing, well, I'd have to go find someone that taught that and learn how to do it. Doesn't matter that I know how to do acrylics. I don't know the first thing about airbrushing. I know one of the things I know is that I'm not enough of a sock folder. I'd leave the machine all gummed up, and then it wouldn't work anymore because I'd forget to clean it. Those things are very sensitive. But I'm just saying that remember, it's not pure white. It's got a little yellow oxide in the white. Okay.
Fritzy would like to know, are there any rules or circumstances regarding adding water to acrylics?
Yeah, all kinds of rules. That generally you don't see me do it, do you? I'm rinsing my brush and then wiping it off. Somebody wrote me I spent, about 45 minutes with this individual too, one of our members, and she wrote, I'm trying to glaze something and it's not working. My paint isn't sticking to the painting. I've got so much paint on there. It's just not glaze. Because she's trying to do a shadow like a glaze, and she's got too much water. Your acrylics use too much water and it won't stick.
It won't bind anymore.
It won't bind anymore. Okay? So you just, and I think that
I think Golden says they can go to 50%, but everybody else is like 30% water.
Yeah, and you
got to
really
be careful with it.
Really, honestly, if I paint with the oil painting method of painting acrylics, more like that, and you're using less, you don't see me use a lot of water, do you? I'm using paint. I'm absolutely. That's the tricky thing here, you guys. I'm using paint. Okay, I'm going to come up here and say there's another one going up this way too.
If you're using a glazing, you'll use a glazing medium to do it.
Yeah.
Stay with acrylic. Acrylic with acrylic.
Yeah, so that you can go as thin as you want. I'll tell you, the best stuff I've ever found is this satin glaze by Golden. And you can get a little tiny bottle of it. You don't have to. You can get one this size. You don't have to think this giant thing. They've got something called a retarder, but if you use too much of it, it never dries. And you have to be a real sock folder and read the directions and only use just the right amount. And you get.
And we know who can't do that.
Well, I couldn't do that.
No.
And I have no patience for it. But that you can't screw up that stuff.
What do you use gel for?
Well, we have some wonderful videos on YouTube on what the different mediums are. And gels are nice. For instance, I might have been tempted, if we weren't doing this as a YouTube tutorial, I might have been tempted to add a little bit of gel in my paint and give it a little bit more texture, so it kind of stuck out of the. It
gives it the 3D look.
Gives it a 3D look, which is kind of neat, particularly with these little flowers. I might have done that, added some gel.
So what does it add texture to your painting?
Yeah, it adds texture. You can use it for that. For instance, do you have that painting that one on the one with the stucco and stuff? That one that was the auction piece. I can give you a great example of something where we've used gels. In my, and again, we've taught so much of this on YouTube. Yeah, no, well, that one, yeah, give me that one. I want the one with the guy on the hotel.
Oh.
Yeah. Here's an example of, can you see this? Do you see these flowers? They're all done with gels. And they're actually, it's raised higher than the rest of the painting. And then this down here is done with some actually resin sand down here on the sidewalk. Incidentally, this is one of our auction pieces. This is called Village Street. I think there's like 12 parts to this lesson. It's in our academy, art on how to do bricks and how to do all this. And anyway, that's one of our auction pieces. This isn't one of our auction pieces, and this is a great example of using gel. This was actually a 2-part lesson. You see this this wood right here that's kind of raised up? That was using gel and modeling paste. And then these flowers were all put on top of this stucco, and that was all done with gel. Okay, and again, another auction piece. And so this is a really interesting painting, original painting by me. That what I was demonstrating for the YouTube lesson was how to use stucco, Liquitex stucco, which is the only people that make it, and then how to use the different modeling pastes and gels to raise your flowers, to get those in relief. So you have sort of this 3D. If I tilt it like this, maybe you can see it. Like this, I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, yeah, you can really see it now. See how it just kind of sticks out from the painting? So again, that little piece is up for auction too. So look how our flowers are coming around, you guys. I've got little ones sticking up out of here. And you see, as we're talking, this is good. We're just chatting. And remember, you guys, that this is a new thing with YouTube. The chat stays up, and your comments will stay up. And so I might even, and also if you do not get your question answered, somebody wrote me today, and I said I'd answer it on the show, and I have not. I'm trying to remember what they asked. I'm sorry.
You didn't forward it to me.
I didn't. And I said I'd answer it on the, well, I said I'd answer it on the show. One thing I want to give a shout out to my friend just south of Houston in Texas, Becky Simons. And I just she sent me I just finished your art to critique thing too for you, your art video, and she had made the comment on our Facebook club page that she said she could tell the difference between dried oil paint and acrylics, because if you used a little rubbing alcohol, acrylics would lift off, oil paint would not. But once you varnish, then nothing's coming off. Once you use a Liquitex medium and varnish, then you're not lifting anything.
You have to go through the varnish to get down to it.
Yeah, you couldn't. It wouldn't lift off. So one of the things that I think is kind of fun. Like when my grandkids were very small, and Cinnamon was living closer to me, and I had done a whole set of, Peter Rabbit tables and chairs and all kinds of stuff, painted all kinds of furniture for him, and then I did 3 or 4 coats with a Liquitex medium and varnish and just sealed it all, and that just really kid-proof even. Oh, that's kind of neat,
got a few more
right?
questions for you. Do you know what the difference is between water mixable oils and traditional oils?
The thing about it is if you have questions like that, the person I would ask is if he has time to talk to you, Daniel Elliott at Jerry's. He's the manager of Jerry's, and he's practically
in Houston.
He's in Houston, Texas. He's my walking encyclopedia of everything there is to know about anything when it comes to art materials. He's just phenomenal. I don't care what it is you ask him, he knows it. I mean, really, what a useful person to have on your speed dial, right? Daniel, what is this, Now, of course, you can always go to the manufacturer and they'll explain what the difference is. There's so many different kinds of oil paint, too. Just like there's student-grade oil paint. See, I'm adding a little bit more color to these now as we're painting, adding a little bit of magenta. Now, look how we just put these flowers in. Isn't that pretty? And I feel like I want one right here. It's not in the picture, but I'm going to do another one because maybe I did my leaves a little different. So I'm going to sneak one. You like that? I'm going to cut another branch and sneak one right up this way. I want something right this way, coming this way myself, just personally. Just to balance it, just for me, but depending on where you threw your flowers, where how you tuck them in will depend on where you put that. But I think I need one up there for me, just for me. Okay.
Can Ginger use the soft body paints? I'm not sure how to use them. I must have 12 to 15 tubes.
The soft body. Well, the liquid, the flow,
flow's weaker than...
Flow has got the same, the flow, Matisse flow's got the same amount of pigment, but it pours out like heavy cream. Some of them squeeze out. They were never very consistent. But the nice thing about those are the ones like in here, these ones in a jar, is that you can get very thin lines. And they're very nice for instance, if you had all the money in the world, you'd have a set of everything. You know what I mean? You'd have the flows, and then you'd have the heavy body, because if you're thinking about doing a big ocean and you just want to blend some backgrounds in and have everything smooth, those liquid flowy paints, gosh, the blending in them is terrific. Really easy to blend. Not so great for this kind of stuff, but they have their place. The thing about it is that people generally most people have some sort of little art budget, and so what I try to do is, there's lots more colors you could own, all kinds of stuff you could do, but I try to make it where you can, see, I'm lightening this up again right in here. See, the next little layer of light. You guys see that? See that little top of that needs to be lit? Okay. So while those are drying, because I don't think I can do much more with those, let's play with our leaf again. Let's take a little bit of white and yellow, and really light, almost white green. I want to come up here on this leaf, right like that.
Hey, we had a donation slip in when I was roaming around.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like to thank Renate, I believe, for the donation.
Thank you very
much. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
We had another question running around here. It was Teresa. She has the gloss glazing medium. Is that okay? Why do you have one over the other? Well, Ginger has both.
I have both. I think I bought one time, and then I bought the other. And Cinnamon really turned me on to these because I had never used them before. But I'll tell you what, I like the satin because it doesn't cut. I'm going to varnish my painting anyway, but the gloss then makes this, one part of the painting shiny until you varnish the whole thing. But there's nothing wrong with it. It still works. Eventually, you're going to varnish it anyway, aren't you? So I just found that I like the satin because it doesn't change the
doesn't change the appearance.
The appearance while I'm cooking, while I'm painting, But that's, there you go. So here you go. Here's another green leaf. Let's get these. We're starting to do the light on the green again. Okay, it's just really light green. Let's put a little bit of pink in that. There we go. Just to put a little bit of that pink in there. Red, grays, green, because it's opposite on the color wheel. You don't even have to write this down. Here's green, there's red, see? So when you add a tiny bit of red to green, it tones it down. And the rule is the farther things are away from you, the grayer they are. That's a good rule, yeah. And so brown would do it too. You put a little brown in green because it's got red in it, and brown will definitely it's still a light color. It's just not quite so bright. Does that make sense? So I want to come back here and add another little leaf in this. Just right over the flowers now and add another little leaf. And I know I want something light right here.
Is there a YouTube video of putting the absorbent ground on prior to the tulips?
Was there? Was there, John?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think you just have, if you've ever put peanut butter on toast, and that's what you do. Just spread it on and let it dry for 24 hours.
Nah, yours took longer than that because it was thicker.
Yeah, thicker. Let it dry for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it well in advance.
Yeah. Okay. So I want a little bit more here. Now, there was some green, believe it or not, just sort of something on the vase like this. Wasn't as bright.
Oh, apparently there is. Wendy found something.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Wendy. Wendy is just amazing. She knows. She probably can
She
find
knows our
stuff.
lessons.
She knows
we don't
where
know them
everything
anymore.
is. She knows everything. Wendy is like...
We go to Judy for sale. Wendy needs to know what we have in our lessons.
It's a little white on this one. I want to lighten this one up here, too. See that? We just needed something a little lighter. Here's a little white in this. Okay. So
do you prefer the stiff or the soft angle brushes, and what brand and size for an 8x10 painting?
Well, we just got through telling you. We want the ruby
people
satin
may be
silver.
showing up late.
You can show up late. Here's what we want. We want the ruby satin silver short handle angle brushes, 3/8 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. That's what we want. Okay? That is exactly what we want. Now, something interesting here. Let's take a little purple and blue. Now, there's maybe a teeny bit of yellow with it, but not much, right? There is, underneath here, he had it in shadow. There's this dark green leaf that's coming down like this. It's almost black. There's this dark green leaf right here. And then there was one kind of over here, too. Okay? So his was a little bit, we may have to do some surgery here. We're doing some surgery, some painting surgery. We need this leaf in here like that. And then, okay, that's better. We wanted that leaf to come down there. And then I'll take a little bit of this pink stuff. And now I'll take a little bit of bright green and say there's a little bit of a bright green leaf coming this way. There we go, a little bit of white in it. Like so, there. All right, so there's our little dark green leaf underneath. Now, while that's drying, what they did that was so cool was they take a little bit of this light green color, this almost white green. Now look here, now look at the difference. Put that next to the vase. This has all had a chance to dry. So then you pinch the brush and then just use the side of it and melt that into the rest of this, okay? This is not water. This is just paint, and you're just doing it. Well, very light. You're just going to use the flat of your brush like that or the side and lighten it up. Look how pretty that is. Get that glowy stuff going. The same thing over here on this side, okay? Very, very pretty.
That glowy stuff.
Just beautiful when you do that. It was really neat. And then just sort of smudge it out like blush on your eyeshadow. Look how it's glowing behind there. And this requires a couple of coats. It's very white right in here, like that. pinch the brush, and just get the edges. Look at that. Isn't that just great? I loved his idea of this green glowing background on this picture. I thought this was so pretty. And I think this would be really pretty as a, 16 by 20, a very large painting. I think it would make such a striking thing in the wall if these were some colors that you were dealing with in your decor, right? Let's see, I need more white here. Okay, now you don't need a lot of paint. See, that's too much paint. We're mopping that up now, see? And then just coming out on the side with it like that and just blend it out. Ooh, isn't that cool? And then as we come down, if we add a little bit of magenta to our green here, then we get it into these colors. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, phthalo blue, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, kind of this more of a grade green color. We can come in here like this with our darker colors down in here, and even some peach tones, pink tones. Let's see, let's put a little white with that. And then I come down in this area, and I've got it lighter, and come over here with a little bit of, this is all about color mixing, lights and darks, a little bit of brown in that, and this maybe come this way, darken that, it's too dark. Let's come over here with some green, maybe some yellow, into there like that. There we go. Okay, and just say there's a little bit of this yellow color in here like that. On the background, maybe up here from the bottom.
We'd like to thank Anne Marie for the donation that came through the PayPal system from our website.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, somebody asked about tape. Let me show you a trick with tape. Let me dry this. I want to show you a trick with tape, all right, you guys? So I'm going to dry this real quick, and John can show you something. Can we do that? I'm going to dry this real quick. Yeah?
Yeah, you're gone. All right. I saw a couple conversations go by here. Renee was asking, should you varnish all her 6x8s? Anything you want to keep and you're done with it and it's good enough, I would definitely varnish it. Didn't you used to live in Seattle as an artist? Did you enjoy living there? She liked Washington. We'll have to ask her on that one. Is raw umber a good color to have?
Raw umber is a great color to have because you can add it to other, particularly if you want. A lot of times, things that people don't like about acrylics, they think they're a little bright, and you add a little raw umber to your colors, and it kind of ages them a bit, makes them a little bit older looking. All right, so here's some artist tape, okay? Now, I'm just going to come along here like this, right next to my vase, okay? I'm going to do it on both sides, okay? And I'm just going to leave a little of that green showing. Okay. Now, if you do this, there cannot be any water on your brush. And you've got to take something and squish down the tape. This is called burnishing, if you want the technical term, right? Now, I'm going to take this dark blue color, like kind of purpley blue color, and come down on the edge here of my vase, and I'm going to do a little bit of the gold right here, this way. Now, you don't want to push, you never want to push paint under the tape. You always want to go out away from it. Let's see if we can, this is going to work here. Here's the dark. Okay, now I think I want a little bit of this light green right under the bottom here, like that. All right. Look at that beautiful edge on that vase.
You could shave yourself with it.
I mean, that's nice. And you may or may not want that effect, but if you did want that effect, that would be how you'd get it, right? And again, sometimes you can just come up and then, soften it a bit or whatever, but that's your look. Now we want to come out here and do our handle, all right? So I've dried everything, so I think I'll just chalk that in. I know I want my handle just above the yellow line. It's going to start here. It's going to come out like a question mark or a, here you go. You're barely going to see it, just about like that. There you go. Okay, there's my handle, and then I'll just take some dark blue with a little bit of magenta in it. Okay, and I'm going to say, here's my purple handle coming up here at the top like that. This is why I like the angle vase, the angle brushes.
Do you remember what colors were used on the dark upper part of the background?
Yeah, the ultramarine blue and purple. Okay, and it's over dark blue.
Valerie says, I heard Ginger used to live in Seattle. Was wondering, as an artist, did she enjoy living there?
Well, I was a kid, though. You've got to appreciate it was a kid who was an artist, right? I think I got maybe a little wider on this than I wanted to, but I still think that works. That could work. Okay, there's my handle on my vase. It's coming up under here like that. It's connecting. Now, the disadvantage of painting over chalk is that it's like painting over sand. It wants to drag. So this is where you might want a little tiny bit of water on your brush. Okay, I'm going to come under here like this and just skinny up this bit of yellow line, yellow band there. Okay, like that. Now what he had was, we probably should have let this dry with a little bit of white and yellow. He had a little bit of light highlight right here. It's almost a little yellow oxide in it, right on the top of this handle right there. See, that's pretty, right? And now let's put a little of that color here on, like this, on the bottom of that. And let's make a little bit of an orange. Now that this is dried a bit, we can give this a little more color on the band like that. Probably not that orange, but still I like that orange color, don't you? There. Okay, so Seattle was, when I was a kid growing up in Seattle, I was a big fan of Saturday morning cartoons. I had a pony, and so we would, in the morning we would watch, all these little shows that we had for the kids in the morning. And then we would go out and play with my pony, and we would reenact all the shows that we saw. Like all the kids, there's like 6 kids in the neighborhood. We all use the same pony, and we'd be cowboys and Indians and bad guys and good guys. And we had a blast. But the thing about growing up in Seattle, it didn't look like Death Valley or any of the places my cowboy heroes lived. So personally, I wasn't all that impressed with it. I couldn't believe we lived there. I had the unfortunate disaster to being born there. But on the other hand, we went to summer camp, lived in Bellevue, Clyde Hill, went to summer camp, and really, I can't complain. We had a very nice life. Honestly, we did. Now I'm going to put a little bit of dark. I'm going to come up here with some dark, and we're going to cut a few little holes into our flowers. If you got them too perfect, you can come back and take a little mouse bite out of a couple places of those, and kind of break up your shape so that you just don't have a solid shape of something. Okay, and I highly recommend that. Just come back and do a few little just dark purple mouse bites of something. There you go, like that. You have to admit, this is kind of pretty, isn't it? I mean, I think this is, we've got 2 of the most gorgeous videos on from Old Dead Guys on our website for Lilacs. We've got Mary Cassette got one of her paintings, beautiful lilacs on the Academy side with in a window, great beautiful lilacs, and we have this other one with the lemons that we showed you last night, wherever that one was.
Long gone.
Well, I think I grabbed it. I thought I did. Well, I didn't. Anyway, I showed you that last night with the lemons. And then we've got another lilac one on YouTube that's just this white vase with lilacs and a big white flower. But I think this one's really classy looking. Don't you guys like this? But to me, this is really pretty. And, you could spend a little bit, you layer the greens in here. This is the trick with this background. You come in here and you layer a few greens. See, I'm just using the flat of my brush and adding a few more colors. And it's just pretty. And I still think I could even go lighter still, right like next to here with my white. Look at that. And just pinch the brush and just look at that. Just barely touch it and lighten this up right here like that. Isn't that pretty? And the same thing here. Now that I've got, because acrylics dry darker, bless their little hearts. So I want to come up here next to the handle on my vase and lighten this up, and I just pinch the brush and just, I think the word is feather. We want to feather out there, see, like that. Just feather out the the color. They're like, look at that. Don't you love? I just love that. And then there's a little bit. It wasn't a straight line, but he came up here like this on the top, and he had a few little light highlights going around, and then a little bit lighter right here. And then I thought it looked very nice to have a tiny bit of this light green under here like this on the table. See, I think it makes the reflection look that much more interesting when we did that. And let's see, what else did I wanted to balance that off? I wanted this very light up here on this leaf, like that. Just barely touch it now. The more paint you have on something, you guys, the easier it is to paint. The easier the paint grabs. If you're not using continuous amounts of water, the next layer grabs the next layer. Okay, let's see what happened to you. Let's do this. Okay, I want a really bright green. Can't do anything with that. Can maybe do something with this. More white in that. There you go. There we go. Light green up here like this.
Does Ginger still enter her paintings in art shows?
No, not so much anymore.
Does Ginger paint for Ginger?
Ginger paints for you guys. Ginger hasn't painted for Ginger in years. Ginger, but Ginger, I like painting this stuff. You know what I mean? One of the things that I really like doing is that, when I had a publisher, they are only interested, it's like being an author. If you're an author of famous Western stories, then they don't want to hear any stories about submarines from you. Even if you could write the best submarine story there ever was and really just make it just so amazing, your fans only want whatever
your genre
whatever is your genre. And your publishers are just like that. They want to put you in a tight corner. And to me, for instance, there's a famous Indian artist. Cinnamon loved this person when she was young, out of New Mexico. And this lady paints this, or guy, or whoever he is, he paints these kind of Indian women, kind of overly large with feet, lots of bare feet, kind of sticking up, like that. And somehow the feet show up. And he got real famous for that. Well, that's all anybody wants to see. I mean, if you had to paint feet for the next 50 years, how boring was this? But this, to me, teaching you guys how to paint, I get to paint anything, and I love it. I absolutely love the fact that one week we're painting some old dead guy's horse, and the next week we're painting something like this, and there's no publisher telling me, well, we just need this from you, we just need that from you. Just really, whatever their damage is, I'm just not interested in it, really, honestly.
Becky would like to know, Ginger, have you ever created a painting without a reference or photo?
Well, yeah, sure, you can. Some stuff, abstracts, sure. Abstracts, but I have an idea, maybe a color thing. But you guys, if you don't use a reference or a photo, it's fraught. It's like trying to tell the hairdresser how you want your hair cut. I want to look like Marilyn Monroe, really, and do it like that. I don't really have a picture, but this is kind of what I have in mind, and good luck with that. But if you've ever gone to the hairdresser and you can give them a photograph, and it doesn't always work out, but they've got to start with something. That's why they have all those books in the hair salons, because you need references. Van Gogh, Renoir, Monet, all the greats, Picasso, they all started with references and models. Disney artists, everybody uses references. It's only the amateur people that think they can get away with it. Cinnamon and I, one time when she was young, she was in college, and we had this huge argument about whether you could just do it from memory, okay? And so she had drawn this pretty good drawing, and I had to give it to her from memory. It wasn't bad, right? But I said, everybody else uses references. It doesn't kill you to get references, but she didn't want to. Well, anyway, there was something off about it. She couldn't figure out what it was. And one of our friends came over and pointed out she had done 2 left feet on the figure, not a right and a left one. Reference photos are key. And also, not all reference photos make not all photos. I've got a whole video on just what makes a good photo for paintings. Somebody recently, a good friend of ours just recently sent me some photos for our art challenge that they thought might make good photos. Terrible photos for painting. Nice photos, though. Big difference between reference photos. And, that's why the more you do stuff like this and go back to the old dead guys, the more you understand about composition, because that's, if you think about art as like a learning art, you don't learn it in a few months. You may learn some skills on how to paint things, but learning how to, it's like the difference between playing the piano and creating a symphony. That's the difference. And there's a lot of thought that goes into that you know, making all that work. Now let's see. I was going to show you something. For instance, this photo, this painting right here with the birds, right? I had a reference photo for the birds, and I had a reference photo for the background. So I combined two reference photos, and this is going to be one of our tutorials on for our Academy members, you know, coming up in May. All right. Now this one was, I had a reference photo of the outline for the 1500s of just a pencil drawing of the horse, and then I found some other reference photos of horses on how to color it in. All right. And of course, you know, and you could say we did another reference for the, you know, the background. All right. So that horse. Here's an example of a. I think I showed you this the other day. This is a new. We just released this in our Academy. John released it early. It's available for our Academy members today to paint. This was by Degas. No, not Degas.
When it go.
Gauguin. This is by Gauguin. This is before he left for the islands, his old country farmhouse. Already seen one come back with a little waterfall. I had a reference photo. I changed a couple of things in it, but I had a reference photo. I just, you know, it didn't make it up. I gingerized it a little bit. That's okay. Sometimes you might just change the shape of something. Here's one of our auction pieces. This first time we've ever done anything from the Wave and Masterclass. Now the reference photo was more square, and I changed it and added, kind of elongated the ocean, you know, changed the sky, did some different stuff. But basically, at least I had a reference photo for all of this. I just didn't try to make it up. All right. And again, this is one of our auction pieces. Let's see if I can give you another example. We had a reference photo for this, but we added with the church and the mountains, but we added the lavender. I had another reference photo for the lavender fields. So this was probably 3 photos put in there. The church, the mountains, and the lavender fields were 3 reference photos. Again, this is one of our auction pieces. And again, this is if you like this and want to paint it yourself, we have this video on YouTube. It's a really good one. You know, it's a YouTube video. Here's an example of this was one of our lessons on our website, Academy lesson. And again, I had a reference photo for the bench, and I had a reference photo for the tree, and, you know, I added the background. So at some point, can you ad-lib a few things after you painted stuff for a while? Yes. So I hope that answers questions. And also, this painting right here, this was, can you see that, John? This was this is another YouTube, going to just kind of show you this, another blue vase on YouTube, right? It's a little bit different, but it's the idea of, again, this is another old dead artist, and what I loved about this was I wouldn't have thought to do this orange background with this blue, and I love the vase, but again, did I add a few flowers or take some out? I thought his blue poppy was outstanding. Yeah, added a few, took some stuff away, but again, started with a reference. So can't say that enough. You hear me say that all the time. References are everything. All right, I think I'm going to just call this done and sign it. Do we have any more questions?
Kind of a strange name for a painting. I don't know if I'd call it done. I kind of like the blue picture. But it's okay. You want to call it done.
I do. I'm going to call it done. I need a little bit of a... Okay, I see something I need here.
Of course you do.
I need a little bit of a highlight right
there. You
haven't
signed it yet. You're going to have to do more.
Yeah, I didn't sign that one. That a little bit darker one. A little bit, you know, just a little highlight on that blue handle right there, right? Maybe just a little... Let's just pop some color right there. There. Okay.
So right. A lot of you saw Ellie. That's the Ellie, the elephant. She's in the accounting department. Elephants never forget, and she keeps track of the numbers for us.
Yeah, so, all right. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think I have in this picture here, I have a little bit of darker down here on the side. I think I have almost a burnt sienna kind of color. So if I wanted to make a burnt sienna color, I'd just take a little cad and a little ultramarine blue, and then maybe do that. And then maybe put a little more yellow with it if I didn't want it that brown, dark. And I'm going to do a little bit of dark down here like that, just on the bottom.
That park bench one, is that a Academy lesson or YouTube?
It's Academy lesson, but we have a park bench YouTube lesson also. That was one of our auction pieces, and we also have a YouTube. You have the bench one for that's also the auction. That's the YouTube. Got a great bench one for YouTube too. that was the Academy lesson. This little bench, right? Where'd it go? It's probably sitting right in front of me. Where did that one go?
The bench one you just had?
The bench one I just had.
Did you put it on the floor?
Did I? I don't remember. Where's the other one? The one for YouTube. That's another auction piece. That's it's 6x8, but it's adorable. And if you haven't done that, it's really pretty. I think that's one of my favorite lessons on YouTube. Is this one again? The original is we're doing it. We're auctioning it off. John's finding it. Well, I figure out how to sign my name here. Okay. Here it is. This right here. See this little bench? Isn't that cute? And again, this was again, I love all the flowers and stuff. And again, I had a reference for this. I just didn't make that up, by the way. I think that was a Paint My Photo reference. But I definitely had a reference for that. Thanks, John. So I think that should, be fairly helpful. And now that it's dry, okay, this is what happens when everything dries. We're going to go back one more time with a few light, just a couple light petals up here using the edge of that brush. Just a couple, not too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stop. Just a couple up here because it dried darker. Just want you to lighten those up right like that. See? Just a few little places where you want to put the light. So, careful how much water you use. I would say that was a really good admonition on careful on your water. And I wish this were a little bit brighter right under here. Just right there. Okay. And then I'll put you see, every time I rinse the brush, I reshape it. And the red splash through. Okay. So these are Russian lilacs in a blue pitcher. And who did we say it was by? We said it was by, what was his name? Because I had it right in front of me and I've lost it again. John, who's the picture by?
Steven.
No.
Valentn.
Valentn, I'll get it again. If it's on the computer and if I touch something and it goes away, where'd it go? We'll never know now, because I was going to tell you, but I wanted to say his name one more time before I start where is it? Where is this? Well, I had it. I just don't know where it is now, you guys. Sorry. I just can't. Whenever you're trying to find something, oh, here it is. You can't find it. Okay, his name was, what? Valentn Serov, S-E-R-O-V. Valentn Serov, okay? And I see one more little leaf I have to put on that he had, that I'm seeing his original. One more little leaf we're going to add.
You got any petals to the table?
Yeah.
Sue would like to know, it needs petals on the table.
Oh, yeah, we had let's put a few petals on the table. We haven't done that, and I think it needs a few down in here like that. Absolutely. A few little white ones.
Diane, if you've asked a question, I cannot find it. You don't look like a mod seen it either.
Seen what?
A question.
All right, here's a few little petals that fell down like that. Okay. You know why I don't like it, and we're taking them off, and here's why. That was and here's why, and here's why we're not adding them. You want to know why I didn't put them?
Why?
And now I know why. Because those take away from this. You see that? This light back here, you start putting light in front, and it takes away from the impact of the light behind the vase. So, I don't want to do anything that's going to take away from that. In fact, I might even tone this down a bit on here.
Would love Ginger to paint a magnolia.
Yes, I've got some magnolias from the old dead guys, some great ones that I'm going to paint. Great magnolias. I don't know if it'll be an Academy lesson or a regular, lesson. But, a YouTube lesson, but it might be something. Let's see, let's get this a little darker right here. A little bit of brown here. Kind of get you want to make sure that this is still looking round. Okay. I think we're okay here now, you guys. Again, I'm not going to put anything else on here. And I didn't put the petals on this one either. Can you see that? See them both? Kind of like my second one a little better. Oh, I see something I want to do. You want to see something I want to do? Now that I'm seeing it, just, you got to do this, right? When I'm thinking about it, right? I'm going to reshape this leaf. It's too long, like that.
What
There.
about the centers to the flowers on the picture?
Oh yeah, I forgot the centers on the flower on the picture. Good point.
Which is more important to you? The subject of your painting or the way it is executed?
Well, I think that's a good question. I think execution is probably key. Subject is, if it's not well executed, it doesn't matter what you're painting, does it?
Yeah.
So, just kind of got to be well executed. But there's some subjects I just don't want to paint. And I think sometimes you just have to find out. If you're not having fun painting something, then go stop and go paint something else. I mean, don't just slave away painting something you hate. Try it and see what you get. Sometimes I'll ask myself when I'm trying to do something. Some of my most successful paintings were one that I didn't want to do, though, when I started them and then I got tired of them and I quit painting them, right? Those are some of my most successful paintings. So you just never know, do you? I mean, what's going to be, all right, let's just, we're going to take this leaf down a little bit too. Got a little big. There we go. We'll take that out of the background. So don't you love how you can just sort of change anything? That's what I love about acrylics. And I'm just going to come in here like that and just trim that down a little bit. It's just too big a leaf. And that's easy to, I don't mind doing that. There we go. There, just smudge that out. So this one I'm going to change just a little bit right here. Just bring this one up, just the shape of it. I'm looking at there. That's just like that. Change the shape of it. Then I'll come back with a little bit of the flowers and just tap some flowers right here. Okay, there. I'm happy. All right, I'll stop.
Do you have an opinion on M-gram acrylics?
I don't know those acrylics, so I don't. And the problem is that if you live halfway around the world, there may be some wonderful acrylics I know nothing about that would be just perfect for you. And because I'm not familiar with them, I can't. I just don't know. But they may be wonderful. The one thing I do like about Amazon is you can look and whether people are starting to do reviews. Is that sometimes you can look up a review on something, and let's make this a little lighter right there. You can do a review on something, and people either love it or they hate it, and they'll give you the reasons why, which can be very nice too. Let's get this a little lighter up here, just because we changed that leaf. There you go, a little bit lighter right behind the vase. I love how it just glows. To me, this is so cool how this painting just glows. That to me is just so neat.
It glows.
It does, doesn't it? All right, let's do our giveaway. If you have a little picture we can have, John. I'm going to do something else for our giveaway tonight. It's not going to be flowers.
Uh-oh.
No flowers, okay?
What do you want then?
I don't know. Give me a dark something.
All right. There.
Okay, give me a dark something. It's not going to be flowers.
Huh.
Okay?
We're all in for a treat tonight then.
So I don't know what it's going to be. It's not going to be, I don't know, maybe you have somebody that you want to give this to. Just not going to be flowers.
Not going to be flowers.
All right? Okay, so.
Let me turn on that and that. All right, there it is. And it's appropriate that we're not going to do flowers because the secret word is lilacs. Isn't that great? I saw a couple questions go by about the upcoming challenge for the private Facebook group. That looks like a horse. Or it could be a dragon.
Could be.
I like how we play those games. A unicorn. A donkey. Ellie wants an elephant. Anyways, the challenge is going to be on a 20 by 24. We have not decided on the subject as of yet. We have 3 that we have selected, and we're waiting to hear if we can use another photograph that we came across on the website, on a website. So hopefully by week's end, we'll have the finals of all that. I saw a couple questions going by about the new video PAC's personal art coaching that Ginger is currently doing and how long it's taking her. We will be stopping doing, how are we going to word this?
Well, our Academy members, our current Academy members, as long as they keep their membership, are guaranteed personal art coaching. And, you know, not only that, but did you guys know that the people that signed up 3 years ago when we first started, some people are only paying like $15 a month. They're grandfathered into that price. It never goes up for them. So wherever you are, as long as you don't drop out, you're grandfathered in. If we raise prices or crazy, you still have the same price. We promised everybody that. Kind of with those that supported us when we only had 10 lessons up. Now we have over 300. And now we've got these video art coachings that are phenomenal, what we're doing, okay? So what basically we're saying is we've said it for all along that at some point we would come to the max amount of time I could spend doing those. So while we'll still take Academy people can still join the Academy and take a benefit of all the tutorials, sometime I think toward the end of May, we will absolutely shut off personal art coaching and make a waiting list for those that are new. You know, so if you've dropped out and you think, well, I'll just pop back in and get more art coaching later, you'll just be put on a waiting list. And if someone drops out of the Academy, then we'll add you in. But that's kind of how we're doing it. We're just, because again, it's we can have 10,000 members, but I can't do 10,000 personal art coaching. Does that make sense? So the art, again, and as far as the, you know, we offered something on our website for where people could get art coaching and not be a member, and we're going to close that off too. You know,
yeah, so it's going to be shut off probably in the next day or two. Yeah,
that'll be shut off. We've got to, you know, so those are just, and we're not trying to be, you know, mean or anything about it. Is that we give, I'll tell you, there's not another company out there on the planet that's giving the kind of art instruction that you're getting from us. Really nothing. I mean, if you can get in now, it's worth it, because I know that if you were taking lessons from me in person, I can't help you as much as if they'll tell you.
The personal art coaching, you're getting a better deal with that than having it in person.
Yeah, and it's much more powerful. Okay, I can't say, you know, I can't say that enough.
There's only so many hours in the day, and right now, we said before, she's got 20 paintings she's supposed to be doing for me.
You know, people say,
I'm caught up to what she's done. That means my staff is going to be sitting around twiddling our thumbs. Not really, but in theory.
John always has stuff to do. But
we got tons to do.
We always have stuff to do, so we're happy to do this, right? And we're happy to do it, and I'm so proud of the art coaching that we're doing. I can't tell you, because I know that it's making huge differences in what people are getting.
It is a unicorn.
Huge differences.
Oh, I want this one. I'll have to enter for this one.
You know, that just.
I saw somebody say, "Can you sign up for 3 years at a time?"
No, you can't. But you only have to. You know, once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in, you have that price forever.
As long as you don't jump out, you're fine. You know, you can sign up and then you're in. And honestly, I mean, it's less than $30 a month, you guys. That's with new. We had 4 new videos a month of things to paint, plus the personal art coaching. When you get stuck, plus you can send in stuff to do things with. I mean, it's extraordinary, I think, what we offer. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's just
ludicrous. I can't believe we're doing it. We're giving away the store.
You know, John's always said that too. He should say, "I can't believe you're doing it." You know, because I mean, nobody's even got the service to do it. And what's interesting is that what we're doing is that. Do you have any more of this black paint? I like this black. I used black on this, and I need some black to finish this. So I need to come back with some black.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd be surprised if it's black. You usually don't leave me black.
Oh, maybe it isn't black. All right, so I lied. Maybe it isn't black. Okay.
You don't give me black.
Okay, so.
What's the most important artist tool? Is there something you can't live without in your studio?
Well,
I would say lights, paint, and brush.
Your brushes, because you can take the whole dog and pony show on the road and paint, right?
Which we've done.
Which we've done, right? You can take the whole, you can take the whole ball of wax on the road, and paint, and do all kinds of the painting. I don't know. I just thought I thought it might be fun to do something different. People said you can do something without well, you see me do stuff without reference photos all the time. Sort of interesting question, wasn't it? But you see me do stuff without reference photos all the time.
Well, you're doing one right now. I don't believe you have a unicorn handy over there, do you?
No, and you lit the one we had out of the yard and it ran away, and there we are, right?
I know.
I told you it would leave. You didn't believe me.
I didn't think he would.
No, you
seemed so happy here. The kids were playing with him.
I know.
He probably got scared when he saw Ellie in her trunk.
Well, probably. It just got to talking to the group, right?
Yeah.
And
a wonderful staff.
A wonderful staff, right?
Ellen says Ginger needs to pick a number because Alexa always picks a high number. You know what we're going to do tonight? We're going to resort the order. I don't care how they come in. I'm going to mix them up because I found a way to do it. I can do that.
Have you? What do you mean you're going to resort the order? Explain this to me.
So the person that came in first, they entered their number in first. I'm going to move them around. Randomly put them somewhere else.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Well, that's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah. So those people that feel like they are, don't have a good advantage. We have seen her pick a number down to like 10 or something before, but it is rare. But we also saw her pick the last number too, which was rare. It's pretty random, guys. Kind of looks like a little Rudolph action there with that little red nose.
No. That's the fire in the nose. No comments for the peanut gallery. No comments. You're not allowed any until I'm done, right? Okay, so.
I just can't help it,
Well, yeah, but you're just gonna refrain. This is
It's a sock folder. I mean, right now this is just a disaster zone.
I know. You're just gonna stop and.
I just can't help it.
I know you can't. You can't help yourself.
I'm watching the comments instead of trying to watch you, but you're just so entertaining over there. I waited a little bit on purpose. Now he's switching them around. Yeah, you never know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, well, I think John's right about doing that, right?
Just mix it up, guys. Mix it up.
I don't know if anybody wants a unicorn or not, but I thought it might be fun to have one. What do you think?
I think we should have one.
I think it might be fun to just be able to say,
Where can I look to sign up? GingerCookLive.gallery.
Yeah.
You'll see a sign up button and more information. You have to contact us if you have a question or two. But May, what is it? There's 31 days in May? I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renette. She says
30 days tonight. Has September, April, June, and November.
Karen could do that too. I never learned that. Then you can do it on your knuckles. Do you know how to do it on your knuckles?
No,
The spaces between your knuckles, it's one thing, and the knuckles are something else.
No.
Oh, yeah. She can do that too. Charlie can do that.
Well, you know what? I don't know what to tell you. No, I never learned that, but I learned the months of the year and the and how many days they were. This is the kind of education that you got in a private school, right?
So you didn't get that in public school.
Listen, Cinnamon went to school when it was year-round school, and for the longest time she didn't know the months of the year because kids kind of learn them because they go from vacation to vacation and kind of count it down. The other thing was that when Cinnamon was a kid, I'm just going to kind of just refine this a little bit now. Cinnamon was a kid. She had a digital clocks just came out. Nobody wanted an analog anymore after that. Remember that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Digital clocks were the thing, and then nobody wanted anything else.
Okay, 31 days. We have 31 days in May. That will be I'll have to write that up for the website. Becky would like to know, does Ginger ever doodle on things when she's not occupied? She is always occupied.
Well, you know, I doodle on people's art when they send it in. I'm going, well, this is neat, but what if we did this, right?
I'm sure, Becky, you've seen her do that to yours.
We just, you know, is that Becky Simons that wrote that?
Yeah.
Because when I was doing Becky's tutorial, I'm going, you know, I said, this is cool. Let's do, what if we did this? This is neat. And then, oh man, as long as we're here, let's do this, right? Okay. Oh, I like that now. I like this purple in the mane. Ooh. It's kind of an abstract unicorn. What do you think? I like it. All right.
Yes, you count the top knuckle twice for July and August because they have the same number of days.
It's interesting how we came up with that too. I mean,
it wasn't we. I had nothing to do with that one.
No, it was the Romans did it. The Romans came up with that. Everybody just fell in line, right?
I don't know why we didn't have a set. You know, everybody have 30 days.
Well, we're still on the there. All right, I think I've got it now, you guys. And I'm going to get rid of that red because I don't like it. I have some of it in there.
You can't scroll all the way back up past a certain point during the live. I saw Trish asking that. It will remove them from here, but when it plays back, it will be back into playback.
It will?
Yeah. It only keeps so much in the buffer. When is Daniel coming back?
Daniel got a job.
A big job.
Not a big commission. Big. I mean, like super buck commission. Right? Probably doesn't want me to tell people that, but I'm telling you. Don't tell him I told you.
Yeah, keep it quiet.
Keep it quiet. He got this job. He got
a good gig.
And it just it's a huge commission. And he's not coming up for air till it's done. It's for some real fancy, important people. You know, there you go. I'm loving that. Okay, you guys, there's our...
That looks like one very fierce unicorn.
Well, it's the guy uniform. There are such a thing as female and male uniform. Is the pencil
that Ginger uses sketch on the canvas a watercolor pencil?
What, this one? This was a Posca pen. Mm-hmm. I just used it.
That was a Posca pen. That was an actual acrylic pen.
Acrylic pen. I like those because you can change your mind. You know, oh, this is fun. You can change your mind with those, and there's our little unicorn there, and okay, you guys, I'm signing that. That's it. That's what we got.
The newsletter. The newsletter went out last Friday. If you did not get a newsletter, if you cannot find your newsletter, do a search in your email for newsletter@gingercooklive.gallery, and you'll probably find it. Can't guarantee it. Gmail deleted some people's, but that's newsletter@gingercooklive.gallery, and add that to your contact list in your email.
Yeah, do that.
You can also find it on the website. It's under, I made a new category, newsletter. It's under that.
Did you make a new category? That was clever.
I did. I am Johnny on the spot. Guys, we only have 279 entries, and I know there's more than 279 of you out there. Great newsletter,
so
John.
Not everybody may
Judy.
want this, John. People
really?
might have wanted flowers, and not everybody may want a unicorn horse.
That's true.
You know, so
you're right.
Just
with a great,
you know, and the people that have entered are saying, "Shh." We've entered. We don't need any more people entering, right? Because they went to all the trouble to enter. You know what I mean? What can we say? Okay. All right. I'm stopping.
Okay. Last call. Last call for entries. What are you doing?
Blotting that up right there.
Reason? Oh. Uh-huh.
Gotta sign. I gotta dry it. Sorry. All right, let me dry it real quick. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so any other questions, guys? Use the contact us form. If you didn't get a newsletter, you can also use the contact us form. Let me know. I'll check your email and make sure you've been confirmed. It's a double opt-in system. Now, if you were in the old system, I just brought you over and you're automatically confirmed, but it doesn't hurt to check. You can watch our lessons on the Roku. I need to get a Roku to find out. I know that people have done it, but I'm not sure how to do it. I have several people that are doing it. What is the age for senior? 60. If you're close, we can negotiate.
And listen, we do Canadian discounts, and we do. Am I back on? You turn me back on?
Yeah, maybe I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
We do Canadian discounts, and we do Australian discounts. So if you're a veteran, if you military discounts,
we try to make it as affordable as possible, guys.
We try to make it as affordable as possible. So if you got some extraordinary reason why something awesome ought to happen, just let us know. All right, there you go. Closing the doors, right, like that. There it is. No, just we did a lot of flowers. I thought it might be fun to have something else. Here we go, a little unicorn. Just sort of magic. This is a Make-A-Wish unicorn. When you look at this, you make a wish and hope it comes true. You like that? This is a magic wish unicorn.
I like that. A magic wish.
I think that's right here, right? The magic wish unicorn. There you go.
All right, door closed.
Door closed. Okay, there you go. Door closed, you guys. Here's our horse.
Resort this.
I don't want that line in there, so I'm taking it out. Okay. All right. Resort it. All good. We're going to give it away. This will be fun. We're happy to mail it to you.
Anywhere on the planet Earth.
Yeah, anywhere on the planet Earth. I think that's pretty good, don't you?
Yes.
Yes and yes?
Yes and yes.
Yeah. Yes and yes.
All right. Oh my God. 294.
Well, that's a lot, man. Maybe somebody wanted the horsey.
I think they did.
Somebody wanted the horsey.
Alexa, pick a number between 1 and 294.
The random number between 1 and 294
Is
is 1.
1. I feel sorry for the person that was 1.
And you mixed number 1 up, so they're not.
Yep. They're not it anymore. And she's never done that to us. We have a winner.
What we got? Who is it?
It is Amy Buchanan.
Amy Buchanan. Congratulations. You have won the Magic Unicorn Wishy Horsey horse.
Wishy Horsey.
Wishy Horsey Magic Unicorn. You can make a wish on it, like When You Wish Upon a Star. Remember that? Disney?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you remember, yeah, there you go. So we've got that. How fun is this?
Well, it's fun to everybody but the first person.
Who's now feeling screwed. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
So sorry.
Right when I thought I was doing a good thing,
Well, what is that line? No good deed goes unpunished, right?
Yeah.
And thank you again, everybody that donated to us tonight. We want to thank you again. We want to thank our moderators for hanging in there with us. Share our videos. Put them in playlists.
Who number 1 was?
Who?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Clark.
Or Lizzie.
Elizabeth Clark.
Lizzie, too bad, kiddo. You were number 1. You lose tonight.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth.
I just love it.
She's probably not loving it either. And she prays for you, John. This is the thing. We are in this lady's prayers almost daily because, of course, we need it. But just particularly you. And
I do that to her.
And you did that. And then you told her. Now she's going to feel bad all night. I'm telling you what. We practically owe her a picture now. I feel real bad.
Oh, poor Lizzie.
We're sorry.
Sorry, Liz.
All right.
We love you.
We'll quit screwing around with the stuff and just do it as they come in. I guess we'll quit trying to.
But I was trying to be fairer. More fair.
I know you were.
That's what I get for trying to be a nice guy. Hey, guys, can't thank you enough. We will be back Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Central, for another exciting lesson of flowers.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Please put these videos in your playlist. YouTube loves that kind of stuff, and they think, oh, they must like it. It's in a playlist. They actually keep track of what videos go and what like Santa Claus. They keep track of this stuff, you guys. So if you really like us, and if you feel like, God, I love John and Ginger,
stop.
what could you do? I'm just saying, you could put your video in the playlist, even if you never looked at it again. It's in a playlist that makes YouTube all happy. Share it with your friends. Go to look, get on Facebook and say, look what I just found. You know,
it's so
never
great.
Hurts. Shout us out. We appreciate it.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Night, John. Night, Ellie. Night, Sammy. Night, Chester.
Ooh, good job. She knows the staff.
Yes. Night, night.
Night.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.